Hello, I'm Forrest Lara, and I've got a problem. I'm not sure if that's how I said that last podcast. I think I've done it three different ways. I think I was like, hello, I'm Forrest Lara, I got a problem. You know what? I'm not quite sure. I'll figure out one and I'll stick with it eventually. But thanks for being here. Third podcast. Glad you made it this far. If you haven't subscribed or followed on whatever you listen to it, please do that. And if you haven't if you're enjoying it, let's put it that way. If you're enjoying it, give me a little rating, give me a little comment. That helps me out there. If you're not enjoying it, don't know why you're here. Maybe you hate yourself. Maybe you hate me. Maybe you hate yourself and me. And this is therapeutic for you somehow. I don't know. But thanks for being here. Go throw a comment in. If you hate it, throw a comment in there. Rate it. I don't give a shit. Actually I do. So just don't do that. I want to let everybody know that is watching this on YouTube. I'm wearing a hat, and there is a fake forest behind me right now. People on YouTube know that. Everyone that's listening, I'm sorry. There's a fake forest behind me, and I'm wearing a hat. That's because I've already recorded the conversation with our guest, Lara Beitz, and I just looked back at it, and I look like a pile of crap. I'm not saying I look great by any means right now, but my hair needs to be cut, and it is not combed, and there is nothing behind me. It's just a plain, like, shitty wall. It looks like some ISIS holding cell. And I apologize for anybody watching the rest of this on YouTube. I apologize to Lara that she didn't have to be seen in a clip of me like that. So this is much better. Should have done the whole one from this fake forest. I got a new segment called I've Got Another Problem, which is where I bitch about something that I perceive as a problem in society or my life that it's nothing to do with addiction. So this is the new segment. I've got another problem. I don't have a musical sting for it or anything. If somebody wants to help me do that, by all means, because I don't know how to make I've got another problem. Pow! There you go. This week, airplane etiquette. Yeah. Sorry, that's where we have to start, but that's where this was born out of, this whole segment. I fly a lot. I will soon be a million miler for Delta, which means I've flown a million fucking miles with just Delta. I've flown with other airlines. Not something I'm proud of, trust me. That means I spent a lot of time in airplanes, and that sucks. A lot of time in airplanes, just wasting away, smelling people's farts, 30,000 feet or whatever, how far high it is, 35,000 feet. This is about people that want to run to the front of the plane as soon as it stops. Can't have that, people. That is not how we act. I don't know why this is only on air. Like, it's a tube filled with like 200 people, and there's some people that think as soon as the plane stops, they're going to try and run to the front and get in the front of the line, which you're never going to make it, first of all. As soon as all the rest of the plane starts standing up, you're going to get about 4 or 5 rows up, and then you're stuck there. And then let me tell you what's happening. Everybody's looking at you because they think you're an asshole. They're just like, oh, look at this guy. It's the same person that's in traffic that thinks you're going too slow for them, even though there's other cars in front of you going slow. So they pass you, and then they just get right in front of you, and now they're still going 30 miles an hour on a surface street or something. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, it's I flew 6 flights in 2 days this past week. Not proud of it. 3 flights in 1 day, which is brutal. Just by the 3rd flight, your brain's mush. Pressurized, unpressurized, pressurized, unpressurized, by the 3rd time. I got upgraded all 3 flights, and it was still brutal. And I know some of you are like, oh, fuck you, blah, 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 cry me a river, whatever. I don't care if you're getting a blowjob for 3 flights. It sucks. Or whatever the equivalent of that would be for a woman. That would be enjoyable for 3 flights. Being seen, emotionally supported. It was International Women's Day, so I don't want to, whatever would be, you know what? I don't even think you'd want a blowjob for 3 straight flights if you're a guy, to be honest. So I'll have to come up with some other analogy, but it sucks. And I know some of you are out there like, what if they are late? They're trying to connect to another flight and blah, blah. I get that. I fly all the time, like I told you. And here's the thing. If a flight is on time or early or on time, either way, That's not a problem. The airlines don't make they give you 45 minutes to an hour minimally the tickets to get to the next flight. And if you're already in that airport, I don't care if you have to go to another terminal. There's plenty of time. Um, Here's the other thing too is they know that, so they'll make an announcement. They'll say, "Oh, hey, we ran a little behind, so if you don't need to, you know, catch another flight, sit in your seats and let other people get off." And people do that because that's the way you're supposed to act. Go ahead. Hope you get to Mexico City or whatever. 3 flights the other day. Not only we were not late, we were early for all of them. And the last one, we got to Burbank Airport early at 9, whatever at night. No flights are allowed to leave after 10. That means no other flights are connecting. There's no connecting flights here. And here comes a group of fucking assholes swimming upstream. Some piece of shit salmon. Nah. You're in row 35. That's where you get off. 35th row. Go fuck yourself, right? Don't give a shit. Anyways, something's got to be done about these people. I don't know what it is. We can't hit them. I know sometimes you want to. They make me so mad. I get so. It's one of the things I get the most angry about. I just want to like throw an empty water bottle at them. So I don't want to hurt them. I just want to. So we got to be able to shame them somehow. So call them out. Just call them. I did that yesterday. I said, no. You got to go back to the row. And they go, oh. And then I said, no. You're not going in front of these people right here or those people. You're 3 rows back. I tried to make them go back, but I made a big enough deal about it that no matter what, I'm sure I look like an asshole. Nobody was looking at me like, that guy seems balanced and he seems like he's not raging with something else that he's taking it out on this person that went up 3 rows. I know there's a balance in there somewhere that I was not finding, but that's my problem, I guess. My problem is to find why am I so angry at these people, even though they are wrong. It's not the end of the earth. Wow, look at that! What a growing moment for myself. Okay, let's get the podcast started. Or the guest. That's what I mean. We're going to talk to Lara Beitz, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. Hey, I'm here with my friend Lara Beitz. You might have seen her on Lights Out with David Spade, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and her new special, Stoppable, will be out soon. And if you want to follow her, find out when that comes out, follow her on Instagram at Lara Beitz. You can follow her Patreon, her YouTube. It's all Lara Beitz, I'm pretty sure, right? That's the,
Yeah.
LARABEITZ. Follow her. She's hilarious. And support her. Follow her. Pay for her Patreon. Do whatever. We're comics. We're starving. So I'm not starving, clearly, but but thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
good to
and
see you.
real quick, yeah, it's good to have you on here. Before we get started, like with questions and talking about addiction and stuff like that, I uh, I was just in Chicago this past week, and so you popped in my head because I was in Chicago and I was in Indiana like a week or 2 before that. So that club always pops in my head that it was in Kokomo, Indiana that we did.
Oh my
And
God.
clearly you've erased that out of your brain. So yeah, it
I'll
was me and
never
you and Carmen
forget it.
Morales. Yeah.
On the contrary, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Do you know what that dude, I mean, I know he already like got canceled or whatever,
Yeah.
but do you know what that dude said to me after our last show?
I know that there was something about the pay or something. You had to do a phone call with him, but I don't quite
Oh,
remember.
he wasn't going to pay me. He wasn't going to pay me at
Yeah.
all for
Yeah.
hosting the entire weekend out of town. But then he gave me $50 for the whole weekend and told me I could come back as a feature if I had sex with him. And I didn't
Oh,
have
I
sex
did
with
not
him.
know that.
And I
So
never went back as a feature. And I'm pretty sure he lived upstairs from the club with his wife and his little girl at that point.
yeah,
Not that that's a cool thing to say otherwise, but
if he was single, it's perfectly fine in our
yeah,
business.
yeah.
But what a piece of shit. Yeah. Uh yeah, well, it
Yeah,
was
but
a
it's
failed
a
comedy club
shame
in
that
Coke.
that place shut down.
Yeah, it's too bad too. It had urinals that were
Yeah.
shaped like women's mouths. So
Uh,
like they were
are
like it was
you
like lips.
fucking serious?
Yeah. It was like these urinals that had like lips on them. So it's not surprising that you just told me he said that to you because he was like, these are cool. Right.
It's not surprising that he had those. Yeah, I'm like, that
Um,
fits. Yeah, it's consistent.
Well, happy International Women's Day, everybody. 4 days late. This is on a Saturday. Wasn't it on a Saturday too? You guys get one day on a Saturday. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what a piece of shit. All right, fun. Comedy's fun, everybody. So, other than people propositioning you for sex instead of paying you, what's your problem?
I mean, where do I start? I've been in 9 or 10 programs. I think 10 now. Um, and I have all the problems.
Yeah.
I think my neighbor just came out. And I'm like talking about because I'm like right at the door. Um, but is that enough information for you to take the
That's
ball from
fine.
here?
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. I mean, you know that I'm a gambling addict. I don't know. I've talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that. Talk about a lot on stage. Um,
yeah,
but this podcast it doesn't really matter. It's just I've been talking primarily to comedians about addiction, which there's no end in sight for guests for that. Uh,
yeah,
I think there's like two comedians who don't have an addiction problem. So
yeah.
maybe.
I have never gambled because I know that I'm also a gambling addict. Like walking through a casino and just seeing the lights and all the stuff, I'm like, if I tried this once, I would never stop. Like I
Yeah.
know that I know that I just couldn't do it. And I've already been addicted to so many things in my life that it's like, yeah, I've learned my lesson enough to not try new addictive shit, Like I can pretty much anticipate the probable outcome of that.
Yeah, and that's because of all the other issues you've had with other things. You're saying you just know
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten addicted to everything I've ever tried that anybody could get addicted to.
Yeah. It's interesting because when there was a moment in my life where I was institutionalized in Florida. They have a thing called Baker Act, which was some state senator's last name, Baker, and he said if you believe I think it's a spouse or immediate relative, or the cops can do it. If they believe you're in danger of harming yourself, they can put you under observation for 48 hours. So that's what I mean by institutionalized. So it's a 48 hours thing, and it was actually cops that did it. They thought that I was going to harm myself. I know in that moment I wasn't, but I was acting very crazy, like for lack of a better word. Like I was acting like I had mental illness. Um, but I spent 48 hours. And so after that came out, my family had like an intervention with me and they had brought a gambling counselor in there, but he was like insistent on, he goes, "You have other addictions for sure." And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And this is my mom and people that know me really well, and they're drinking, and I go, "Not really. I mean, I've drank to excess before in my life. I've had a night where I've gone drunk, but it's never been a thing for me. I've done drugs, but it's never been a thing where it's been making my life unmanageable, like taking over." And he was really, but I now that I look, but there are other. I would say food. I treat food in a certain way that is unhealthy. So I'm sure that I should probably call this guy up and apologize to him and be like, yes, there are other things, but he just kept saying alcohol and drugs. I'm like, no, no. My mom's like, just he doesn't stop it. Like, but but yeah, it is interesting. I think because sometimes people come up to me that people that I know that are friends that don't have addiction issues, and they'll be like, oh, I don't do that because I'll I won't I'll be addicted to it. I'm like, I find that impressive if that's true. If they've never been like in the throes of an addiction and they know that already. So but being an addict, you already know that, yeah. So, um,
Yeah.
was there something like was there like a low point? Was there something that turned like what turned you around to where you was like, I'm just not going to do this crap anymore? Like for
I mean, with everything, it was a different thing. So the first program I ever tried was for alcohol,
yeah,
and substances. And then after that, the other problems surface. Like you see what was that and what wasn't. And the next program I tried was for food. And the next program I tried was for relationships. And there are a bunch of relationships ones. And then a program for money. And right now I'm sponsored in four, is it 5 programs? 4 programs?
mm,
Yeah, in 4 programs.
Yeah.
one for relationships, one for money, one for alcohol and drugs, and another one for relationships.
Wow.
Like
Um,
familial versus like
yeah.
romantic,
Yeah. Yeah.
romantic and then like all other. Yeah.
Money's an interesting one. That one kind of blurs for me because I treat
Yeah.
money terribly, but a lot of that has to do with the gambling part. I believe it does, at least, because
Yeah.
you don't see it as value. You see it as the drug. The
Yeah.
money is the drug too. That's what you need to in order to gamble to get the action and stuff. So, but yeah, now you're making me think maybe I should reevaluate myself because when you said money, I go, oh yeah, I didn't even know there was a program, but of course there is. Um,
Yeah. I love it.
yeah, and so and do you feel like this is a weird question I've asked a couple people. Thankful isn't the right word, but like now the way that your life is, I feel like that you're in a better place, that it's like more manageable for yourself. Do you feel almost, thankful is the wrong word, but like glad that you're an addict in some way? Because this is the quote I always use is Lance Armstrong said he was glad he got cancer because it was the best thing that ever happened to him because it changed his outlook on life and etc. So yeah.
Um, I don't know if I'm glad, and I know what you're saying. I
Yeah.
am grateful that I have programs, um, but I'm not in self-pity about it, And in the beginning, that was hard. In the beginning, there was like, why do I have to be like this? I hate that I'm going to be like this forever. Why do I have to take on another program? Other people can just enjoy this stuff normally, and
Yeah.
I can't. Why do I have to give this up? Why do I have to give more up? Why? And now I'm not in that place. It just is what it is. And I realize that, like, I have like the top 1% of lives. If you look at everybody in the world, like, I get to do what I love for a living. I am relatively healthy. I have a family who loves me. I have friends. Like, I have shelter. I have enough to eat. Like, I mean, I could go on all day.
Yeah.
And so and that's not to say that I don't give myself room to feel my feelings. Like, we all still experience the entire gauntlet of human emotion because frankly it's not that big of a gauntlet. Like, there are a lot of feelings, but there also aren't, depending on how
Yeah.
specific you want to get. um
I like that.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but like, I'm a human being, but I always do bring it back to reality, which is like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's certain things that it's also, it's not that I can't do it. Like, I can eat whatever I want. I have that option. I can do whatever I want physically with another person or emotionally. I can spend as much time as I want with anybody I want. I don't want to because I don't want to experience the consequences. So it helps me to look at it as a choice. It's not that I can't ever drink again. I could drink tonight, but I don't want to pay the check for that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. I think that's I still got stuck on the emotions part they were saying. I was like, there aren't that many emotions. It's
Yeah.
like taste buds. Like what? There's like five things. Five, isn't it five? It's like
Yeah.
bitter, salt, sweet. I don't even know what the five are. Something else.
I
I'm
think
missing
like
one. Sour.
umami is
Yeah,
one,
umami,
sour.
yeah. But then
Yeah.
but then if you go to like a Michelin star restaurant and you ate like a bite, like just this one spoon that they would give you, you'd be like, I don't know how to describe that. That's like five different things going on in the sweet and sour. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is. And I do appreciate, like, even when I've been at the lowest of my lows, um, I look at, especially, I mean, I've had two different jobs. I was a marine biologist, which whenever I tell people that, people are always like, well, I was gonna, that's like
I never
also,
knew that.
you didn't know that?
No.
Ah, I was a marine biologist as my first career. I studied biology and environmental science, and for up until 2010 is when I quit my day job, as they say. I was a marine biologist, and I worked in Miami. I went scuba diving, like count seagrass, look at coral reefs, manatees. I worked with a lot, and then there's a little bit of overlap with comedy, and then and so now I'm a comedian, which they sound like complete lies when you're if like I was at a if I was at like a nightclub like hitting on a woman or something, I'm like, yeah, I was a marine biologist and now I'm a comedian. It sounds like some complete made up bullshit, but I do the gratitude is what that I do look back at when been at the lowest of my lows. I'm like, you know what, like I've had a good life. I've had good opportunities and stuff, and so I can still and I can still get back to those places. Like I'm still, why am I doing these things to prevent myself from having this life that I already have? That so. But the gratitude of where I've been and what I've done and stuff, I think is really important for people that are addicts, especially. And
Yeah.
man, I had this. I just put up this clip from the last episode, and I don't mean to do anything that I'm not trying to do anything that's going to go viral for this podcast. This is like a lot for me and my friends and stuff to be able to talk to them. But all it said was it was about California sober. Was like some people that they smoke weed but they don't do anything else, and it has helped a lot of people. And I know a lot of people only do that, and they have these lives now where they're participants with their families and spouses and kids and whatever, and it's worked for them. And my guest that was on, JF Harris, he just goes, yeah, I say whatever works for you. Like he didn't want, I'm not judgmental. He goes, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I might not do that, but whatever. Holy shit. And then the joke was, yeah, and no one ever says that with crack. They're like, no one ever goes, yeah, I only smoke crack. But I
Yeah.
put that on TikTok, and the comments were like, fuck you. Like, looks like you're at the all
Really?
you can eat bar. And I'm like, which you can't hurt me with fat jokes. I just want to let everybody know that that's half my
Yeah.
act. So don't even try. But, but yeah, there were some people that were like kidding when they said, well, then it means you can't eat sugar, smoke a cigarette, or do like the medication for depression or something. And there was people that were being serious. They would go after that comment and be like, that's right, you can't smoke cigarettes or you're not sober. And I was like, this is not helpful, I feel like. And
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know like
Yeah.
how you feel about stuff, but I just feel like the definition of sober, these people were sitting on it. I'm like, I don't think that's important. Like,
Well, if you define it as anything that's mind altering, then you can't turn on a light when you enter a room. You can't
yeah,
listen to anybody speak. Like everything is mind altering.
yeah,
So, I mean, I feel like that's best just met with like a fuck off. Like, you know what
exactly.
I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And if you don't know what I mean, you don't have to. Like,
yeah,
all right, if you can't figure out what I'm talking about, then I guess you just won't
yeah,
understand it. But chances are you can figure out what I'm talking about. People are
yeah,
just twats on the internet. Like
yeah,
it's that simple. They just like want something. They just want to be contrarian, you know?
yeah. I was trying to be like democratic about it, but I wanted like the comedian in me just like I wanted to be like, well, sober just means for some people you're not waking up in your car every day anymore, or you're like,
Yeah.
you're not waking up wondering where you are, or you're not trying to figure out how you're going to pay your rent, like whatever. That's like,
You're not getting fucked up.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
So,
why can't it be that? You know what I mean? Like, if you drink a cup of coffee, yeah,
yeah,
it'll affect or you take an antidepressant or medication, like, yeah, it might affect the way you view the world, but you're not getting fucked up. And I should add to that to get fucked up. Like, there are
yeah,
people who need to take painkillers, who have, spinal surgery or whatever. And
yeah,
I've known, um, I had a medical procedure. I've had 3 medical procedures in sobriety where I took medication for the pain and I didn't go out. I know some people who do like relapse because they have to take medication like that.
yeah,
Um, but that was never my thing, which isn't to say that I couldn't get addicted to it, but I'm talking about like something during a procedure, you know,
yeah. And I think,
that felt good, but I wasn't
yeah,
taking it to get fucked up.
yeah,
Was I excited to get fucked up? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I absolutely was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie,
Loophole.
but yeah, totally.
But also
Yeah,
I have friends that were heroin addicts or Oxycontin or any of that stuff. And then that is the difficulty in that type of addiction with those decisions you have to make, whether you're going to do it. For me, like gambling is a really tough one because I think a lot of people don't understand it a lot of times. They're like, you should just not do that. Cool. Good advice. But it's the money is that's what I try to explain to them. Think of my money that I have is the alcohol or the cocaine or whatever. That's what it is because that's how I get the action to create the dopamine release. So with gambling, it's like I try not to have money on me. If I go to
yeah,
Vegas and I do gigs, I try to leave all access to cash in LA. And I just go there
yeah,
with like I try to do that as much as I can, and that's like one of the roadblocks I put up. Um, so yeah, it would be difficult, I think, for people that were like because pain meds were created not I mean there's to help people that my mom took pain meds when she had cancer to get through life, so
yeah.
that would suck. That'd be a hard decision to make, but you know um anyways, yeah, that's uh okay, sorry.
All right.
Do you say you said earlier, do you like miss any of I mean is that like do you like because with me I still think about gambling, I just have less urges. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that like
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, with alcohol and drugs, they still look fun to me,
yeah,
but it's not, I don't like crave them. Sometimes when people are drinking around me or like when someone will like take an edible or something, I'm like, that looks fun. But I know that it's not. And it's
yeah,
just like playing the tape out. And it's not like it was before I had programs where I'm like, they say like white knuckling it, where I like have to try not to do it. Like it's just not on the menu for me anymore. Um, the the relationship stuff and the food stuff are the hardest. I would say the food, I still miss my binge foods. I'm not gonna lie. I
yeah,
remember what they taste like. My mouth is watering right now. Um, but I don't miss how I felt. And the fantasy is always better than the reality because that again, it's like about playing the tape out. It's like if that stuff all made me feel good, I wouldn't have gotten into a program for it. Like I know I didn't feel good.
yeah, yeah. It's I'm with you on that. That's a I've like ignored. I've gone through. I don't even know if you've ever known me when I've because I think I don't remember what year I met you when we did that horrible
A
trip. I
long
try
time
not to bring
ago.
up again, but
Yeah, it was a long time.
because I think the last time I was in actual shape, a little bit in COVID, I lost some weight and got in shape and stuff. But I ruptured my Achilles in 2013, and I was like ripped then. I was like, I had been seeing a trainer for 2 years, and I was like in really good shape. I also rode crew in college, which people don't believe me, but I did. But now as I get older, I think like I'm relatively healthy. I did this is a joke I do. I'm not trying to do math, but when I turned 50, I'm an old person. When I turned 50, I had everything checked out. My heart, I had like they scanned my brain for see if I was like a candidate like strokes. Of course, I did the camera up the butt. I did everything. I did physical. I do physical every year, anyways. And all my
Hmm.
doctors are always like, I mean, that's the joke. Is they're always like, yeah, no, it looks you're killing it. Like my genetics are very good. So part of me is like, well, that's cool because I'm taking care of my body. So that's good. But I also feel like what a waste. My genetics are so good. I should have been like, like taking care of my body better. But it is like catching up to me now just as an age thing because now I'm just tired a lot. I don't think I can sleep right. I, oh my God, I put a tray out. I got upgraded to first class. This is literally yesterday. I got upgraded to first class, and it's like the new seats, which are lower profile. And I tried to put the first class tray out, which is an armrest, and my stomach was in the way. And I was like, "Yeah, that's not good. That's like the first class tray there should be enough space." And the guy's like, people are so like nice now. I thought, or not everybody, but the flight attendants, of course, are gonna be. And he's like, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to. I don't think I want to eat." Just
Really?
holding the tray like that. but I got it to work. He's like, well, if you take the seatbelt off and if you sit, like we figured out a way, but it still was just like, oh, but this is literally yesterday. So I was like, this might be a good wake up call to lose, maybe just, let's just say 20 pounds. Let's just start there. So the tray can fold out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm getting too old, I guess, to be carrying it around. It's probably the main thing. And it's almost like I wish the doctor had come back and be like, you got to get in shape right now.
Yeah.
They should have just made
Right.
up something and lied to me. You are going to die in 10 months if you don't. Um,
Well, I
yeah.
got my panels done and my doctor like was worried about me developing fatty liver.
Mm,
So told me to cut out processed meats, which is not something I think you would guess by
yeah.
looking at me. And the women in my family on both sides live to be 100 years old, like they live to be super old. So I was surprised by that, but I also did like beat the shit out of my liver for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you're from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the number one state for, yeah. I remember seeing some poll and it was like top drinking cities. It wasn't even state. And I think it was 20 cities and I want to say 10 were in Wisconsin, which I was like, holy shit. Um, the,
Yeah.
you think it's, as a comic, I'd say it's probably better. I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot of comics are sober for whatever we're doing a lot more now than they were 20, 30, especially 40, whatever. I think it's probably an easier is the wrong word, but a more accepting time for that to happen versus I can't imagine these LA clubs in the 80s would have
Yeah.
been like insane. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the backstage of the main room at the comic store is literally mirrors, which is like I'm sure there's some sort of residue here, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that that's a good thing too. I think because I try to tell everybody I'm pretty open about it with gambling because I do so many casinos. I work at so many casinos, and so um, I want to be open there so that at the very least there's some sort of shame factor that would go on if somebody saw me sitting down at a table to gamble or something like that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that I think about that a lot. But and then why do you think? This is what the question I asked. There's a lot of comedians that are addicts in one way or another, whether they admit that they are or not and stuff. Why do you think that is? Do you think there's this level of that you have to have some sort of the tragedy, as they say, to be funny? Or
I mean, I think, and I'm just throwing this out there as a possibility because I've heard that so much too. I haven't seen any proof that comedians are overrepresented as a- addicts or
yeah,
that there's more addiction in comedians. Like we don't know in like an office setting how many people are alcoholics because they're not going to talk about it. You know what I mean? I think they're more likely to keep it private because it's not unprofessional for us to talk about our personal lives and our problems like that. And I think that the same is true of mental illness. Mental illness is material. I do material
yep,
on both of those things, but you wouldn't talk freely about those things if you worked in, a corporate environment.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know if it's that there are more addicts in comedy or that we just know more about comedians' personal lives. If there are more addicts or more mentally ill people who are comedians, I think that one likely explanation is what people say, which is just like not getting enough attention as a child, not getting enough love, having this addiction to validation where you just need to make everybody love you and you need to get attention. Um, and that leads you to being a comedian.
yeah. That's a really good point. I've never really thought about because I come from a science background, as you just found out 2 minutes ago. But so data
Yeah.
is like really important to me, and like also, especially in the world we live in now, the perception of reality of what people say and think, and they just hear. But I think that you're onto something there. I think there are a ton of comedians that definitely have addiction issues, whether they're sober or not. But I think you're right. In the quote unquote real world of people have office jobs. Of course, they're not going to come out because there's, especially in the real corporate world, and I mean, there's plenty of jobs you'd lose if you were came out. So that probably makes sense. That it probably is on pace with what the rest of society is, but they're just not allowed to. In my head, I was just like, well, we're all fucked up, and that's why we're comedians. But I think what you say has some merit to it. And of course, you can't take that. Whenever I see a poll on drugs, I'm like, there's no way this is accurate. Like, I don't, unless
Yeah.
you took this with like through some sort of. There's no way, because even when people are alone and they know that's going to be anonymous, they're like, I'm still going to lie a little bit because in their head.
Well,
Um,
and a lot of people are lying to themselves. A lot
yeah,
of addicts lie to themselves. If someone's not ready to quit, they might not be ready to admit that they have a problem.
yeah, yeah. And that would go along with like celebrities too, because their lives are so public. So like when a celebrity overdoses and dies, or they come out and say I'm sober, same thing. Their lives are so public. They're not necessarily talking about it. Like actors aren't talking about it, and they're just reading the words on a script, but they're still out there enough where people are like, yeah, all these celebrities are on drugs and alcohol and stuff. Meanwhile, it's just like, look, the people we're performing for are mostly drunk, and a lot
Yeah.
of times then there's I just the shows I just did, there's people that I'm like, look, I'm not judging you live your life, but you probably there's probably something going on here just based on the speed at what you were drinking, I would say.
I've noticed that fewer audience members are drunk. I've noticed more tables where you'll see a bunch of empty, like Pellegrino bottles.
Yeah, who's there? What do you got?
Baby Dusty?
Baby Dusty. Cute. How many cats do
Yeah,
you
if I didn't put him in my lap, he would just keep meowing and it would ruin the podcast. I have two.
have? Two. Yeah, I remember you having more than one, but Dusty, and who's the other one?
Queen Princess.
Queen Princess.
They're so good. They cuddle with each other. They're so good.
What do you call Queen Princess though? How do you
Call her
call her?
Queen Princess.
The full
Well, you
name?
don't call a cat. I mean, actually, her I do. I just say her name and she will run into the room. They're obsessed with me. It's so cute.
But you say her full name, Queen Princess?
Yeah, I mean, it only takes a second.
Yeah,
It's
it's a lot
one
of
syllable
syllables.
longer than Dusty.
Queen
It
Princess.
doesn't roll off the tongue though. I think that that's what makes it feel
Yeah, it's two words. I think
longer.
that's why it is. When you're like
Yeah,
talking to an animal, you're like, I'm not doing two words. That's
yeah.
my dog's around here somewhere. Arnie's around here somewhere. Two syllables. Yeah,
Arnie's such a cute name for a dog.
yeah, and it's not Arnold. It's Arnie. It's only Arnie.
Yeah, yeah.
Arnie Shaw. There he is. And then, what would say? I would say, what was at a moment, and this is, I think, important for people that are like kind of struggling or finding their way. Was there like a specific moment you remember when you were initially going through whatever programs you were at the beginning, and getting sober, that you were like, that you felt like you got over a hump, or it was something that was like a just a like a monumental thing you were doing, or just like I say like a marker where you were like, hey, that.
I mean, it immediately my life got better as far as like a tangible event. Um, I got a job. So I got fired from my part-time job as a server 2 weeks into my sobriety and sobbed my eyes out, had no idea what I was going to do, no idea how I was going to make rent. Um, and went to a meeting and shared about it. And a couple of women gave me like the info for temp agencies and taught me how to like make a resume. Like everything I've learned about being an adult, I've learned in sobriety. And so this temp agency got me a job. And within like weeks, I was working in the Willis Tower, like getting to wear like professional clothes that I had to borrow from a friend who was like way bigger than I, like have these clothes like hanging off of me. But I, my self esteem like tripled just
Mhm.
from having a 9 to 5 with benefits where I got to like walk into an office building every day. And like, I mean, and so that was an event where I just was like, I'm going to become the adult that I've been trying to be. Like there's a better life for me, you know? And that was when it was still like, it was still really hard, but I could just see things happening and I felt taken care of, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then and when I met you, so I guess I was like 20. I had not moved to LA.
Had
I
to have
don't
been
know.
2012.
So right before I moved here, I think. Um, I know you were sober. You were not drinking then. I know. What
Oh no. Oh
was it?
yeah, that's right. Because I went to a meeting. Well, then it was at least 2014
Yeah, I think
because
maybe
that's
I was
when I
in
got
LA.
sober.
Yeah, maybe I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah, because I went to a meeting in Kokomo, Indiana, and it was probably the roughest meeting I've ever been to in my life.
when we were there that weekend, you went to one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I went to one. There was like no one there who
yeah.
sponsored. It just it was slim pickings, dude. It was rough.
Yeah. I think people are processing the fact that there's a place called Kokomo, Indiana, right now. That are listening. Just like I think it's literally cornfield. Like you're driving in cornfields, and then the corn ends in the city. Like it's not a
Yeah.
big city is the wrong word. And they had their big thing was they had like the largest cicada or cricket or statue or something, some weird statue, and a comedy club for 2 months that I that you didn't get paid for. I'm so sorry.
I got
fifty
$50 for
dollars.
the weekend. Yeah.
Oh God, I don't
Yeah.
remember getting paid that much either. He tried to screw me over on money too. It's not surprising and stuff, but comedy, who would know? Um, and you're so funny, by the way. Like everyone should check out Lara. She's very funny. And one of the
Thank
cool
you.
things I remember you doing the David Spade show. I remember when that happened for you because I remember you posting it or seeing it, and then I wrote to you just saying, "Oh, this is awesome." But just the other day, I was like clicking on stuff to like for the show to like make sure I had stuff, and so I just I watched the first couple minutes of it, but I watched his intro of it, and he had never had a comedian on the show before. He
Yeah.
didn't even have that as like a slot on the show, and I was like, "Holy, yeah, that's." I remembering it was the David Spade's Lights Out show, it was a panel show and stuff. So that must have been like amazing, just in your brain, like this is your first late night thing you're doing, but it's also something that David Spade just kind of created because he thought you were funny. So at the store, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was like the most exciting thing ever. It
Yeah,
was, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
yeah, that is so cool. Like, I mean, it's cool anyways to get on television is impossible for people that don't know, like in any manner. But that was really that's a cool story to have and stuff. So, all right, a couple more questions, then I'll let you go. It's International Women's Week or month.
I'm having a good time. I got nothing. I'm good.
Okay, we'll do a couple more hours. Um, what was? Oh, actually, I have like three more questions. Do you have any healthy addictions, or do you call them addictions if they're healthy, or like what do you like if something like if you work out a lot, or you're like I'm addicted to working out now, or do you think that term shouldn't be used?
Yeah, there aren't healthy addictions. An addiction is by definition maladaptive. There are things that are rewarded, but the nature of addiction is it's obsessive. You go through withdrawal, you build a tolerance, it hurts you if you can't do it. Like an addiction is like you put everything else out of like, I know people who are workaholics and it's like it's not just having a good work ethic. It's like
Yeah,
they fall asleep working and all of their relationships get pushed out of their lives because they don't make time for anything but work. There are just things that are rewarded in our society, like being in really good shape. I mean, compulsive exercise is absolutely a thing. And when I first started in my food program, I was exercising for 8 hours a day
yeah,
and had to like get honest about that and stop doing that because that's called exercise bulimia. Like that's a thing. Um, and it hurts you. But yeah, so there's not such a thing as a healthy addiction. I don't I don't have anything that resembles that, but I do need to move my body regularly. Like I do need to exercise regularly. I'm in physical therapy and I'm supposed to do it 5 days a week, so I try to hit that mark.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
I agree. I agree with you.
yeah,
I would say that when the the longest period of time that I have been clean from gambling. I mean, that's another thing. We need to come up with a different word. You don't say sober from gambling, but clean, I guess.
yeah,
The longest period of time was um, right when I started doing comedy in 2004 until I moved to LA 2014, I think. Yeah. So 10 years. And then I've gone back and forth. When I moved out to LA, I stopped going. I didn't have my program in place. I didn't have roadblock. I didn't talk to my sponsor that I had on a program. I just moved to a new place and thought I could keep doing what I was doing. And it was not good. But did correlate with comedy starting there, and I believe that like there's a lot of times I look back with the amount of work or the amount of time I spent with comedy is there was negative results from that. Like I was transferring these addictive kind of behaviors where I was like it affected my relationships with people,
yeah,
and thankfully the longer you do comedy, I still love performing. But the longer you do comedy, I believe, the less inclined you're like, oh, I got to go out 10 times this week. Now I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because like,
yeah,
I was like, because that's whenever people, there is a whole thing. I'm sure the people that are into comedy know, but in comedians, New York versus LA, which is the better comedy scene. They're like, in New York, you can go out and you can do 4 sets in one night. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't seem good.
I don't think it is good for
Yeah.
you. I think it makes you release so much. I mean, for me, I would release so much cortisol if I did that because just the ups and downs of performing are like a lot for
Yeah.
my body. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot of adrenaline. And if you think about it, like we come from monkeys, like we're primates. And if a primate was in the wild and had 400 other monkeys looking at it,
Yeah.
surrounding it, or in front of it, it would be about to die. I mean, it would be the scariest thing that ever happened to it. It's unimaginable.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people get stage fright. It's fundamentally fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure you've experienced like there's the high before the high where you're excited to go on, and even if you're dreading it, even if you have stage fright in your body, that still registers the same way that excitement does, essentially,
Yeah.
physiologically. So you have that high, and then you have the high when you're on stage and it's going well. Or even if you're bombing, you still get you really get that adrenaline
Yeah.
going. And then you have the come down after that high, where like all of I don't remember which one's parasympathetic and which one's sympathetic because I remember parasympathetic being the one that I wouldn't think it was. And so if I do think it's the right one, I'll still think it's the wrong one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
basically like, the antidote that your body produces that brings you back down to baseline because it's not sustainable for you to stay in that fight or flight state.
Yeah.
And then to go and do that 3 more times
Yeah.
is, I mean, you're shooting up. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not good for your I I don't think it could possibly be good for you.
Yeah. Plus, if that's your Tuesday and then you're on the road
Yeah.
because Friday, Saturday, you're gonna have two shows, unless you're doing theaters, which if you are, hats off, you're winning life. But right
If you're
now, I'm
doing
not.
theaters, you're not doing 4 fucking open mics in a night though. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's yeah, exactly. Um, but it's yeah, because it is true. Like all the sets that you get more consistent, you get better, but all the bad sets that I've had in recent memory is the ones where I had no, yeah, I check my heart rate. I'm like, oh, that's bad. It's really low heart rate right there. About to go on stage and not give a shit. Because people ask me if I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm not nervous like I was when I first started. But if you don't have that little bit of, like you said, you're about to release everything. If you don't have that going, then it's not going to go well. You're not going to be delivering anything. So yeah, I don't know. create some controversy. New York, it's to me, it's just like I don't want to do. I wanted to do a sketch at one point, like where because I forget who it was, but they went and they did like 9 shows in New York at one night or something, or 10 shows, and it was like a record. And I was like, yeah, you can't do that in LA because you got to drive everywhere, number one. But also, who gives a shit? And I wanted to like go to New York and get told that I couldn't do a set at 10 different clubs in New York. And like,
That's so funny. Get rejected from 10 different shows
yeah,
in
yeah,
one
and
night.
we're cool. Oh yeah, cool. Hey, I'm just gonna go over to the stand and see what's going on there. You're not even past here. You're not even allowed to be like.
That's so funny. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Get turned down. Get
It would
turned
require
down
me to
from 10
fly to New
different
York,
shows one
which
night.
every time I'm in New York, I'm busy. So I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even want to do that. I was like, I can't shoot the sketch. I don't have enough time.
Well,
Um,
and that's such a dumb controversy because it's like there's a difference between you preferring something and that thing being better.
yeah,
I prefer LA. I have a hard time in crowds. I've been in New
yeah,
York. It's not my speed. It's just not my speed.
yeah,
There's too many people. It's too small. It fucking stinks. I don't need to move that fast. I don't like to move that fast. And people were like, get out of the way. Like literally saying that to me. Not for me. It's just not for me.
yeah,
I would go there temporarily if I like got a job there, but um
yeah,
and then LA is just like I have the privacy of my car. I have at least that space around me because so much of life is just like getting places. And I love the mountains and I love the ocean. Like, okay, you can do 10 different sets in a night, which is ridiculous, which I have no desire to do. It's like saying they have a great accounting school. Okay, well, I'm not going to fucking go there for that because I don't want to go to accounting school, you know?
yeah,
But yeah, there's also the ocean and the mountains. So how can you be like, this is
yeah.
objectively better? I
And
guess
the
they have the
desert,
ocean there too. But
and the desert. Don't forget the
yeah,
desert. Desert's awesome.
yeah.
Death Valley. You guys can't do a set in Death Valley in New York, can you? I don't think so.
Neither can we. No
Yeah.
shows there.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna open a club there. That's it's so close to LA. You get all the best comics. Just put it on the route. You go
Yeah.
Bakersfield to over to Death
Put them up
Valley.
in a tent. Yeah.
Yeah, you come there in July, just die. Um, yeah, okay. Do you This is another thing another question I have for people that are, you know, dealing with addiction, they're sober, working on their sobriety. Do you feel there's a problem that some people, I'm not saying that you have this, but I feel that some people have, there's a stigma that they believe some people that are sober feel like they are smuggy about it or they feel like superior to people. And yeah. And have you ever encountered that before?
I mean, I feel superior to my old self. And like, yeah, I think everyone feels superior to the person who's like barfing outside a bar. It's humiliating. That's why I stopped drinking, you know?
That's a good
So
point. You
it's,
definitely are superior. Okay.
yeah, I don't feel superior to people who can like drink normally, but do I feel superior? And I mean, intellectually, I don't think I'm any better or worse than anyone else on this planet. I think we're all doing our best with what we have. But and I don't feel superiority as much as I just feel empathy and I want people to get it.
Yeah.
Like I want everybody to get it. I want people who need help to get help. But yeah, if someone's acting like a fucking fool,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing.
Yeah. It's funny because I know some people that I think come across in a certain way that are sober or they're an addict, whatever. And I think people look at them like, oh, well, they think they're better than me. And I said, I think that's just how they they're internalizing, and that's the way that they have to deal with. That's how they come across. Even I don't think I haven't met, and I wouldn't say that I'm not telling you there's no assholes that are sober or like in recovery, like there is,
Yeah.
but that doesn't have to concern you with your own journey and plate and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do. It is a good way to put it because when I walk through casinos, like when I do the Comedy Cellar is you stay in the casino for a week.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
do that walk through, but I guess I do feel a little superior because I can see the people that are I can tell you right away the same way an alcoholic or a drug addict. I can look at somebody gambling and telling you whether they're having a good time or not, whether they're an addict or not. It's very apparent, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do get I am jealous of people that can just gamble normally. I can't even fathom how that is possible. Like,
I can't fathom
so
either.
and I have friends that like I spoke about on a previous episode. I went to a Super Bowl party and they were all doing gambling, and it was like for such a minute amount of money that it was like insulting to me. Like I was like, this is stupid. Like $4. I was like, gives a shit, you know? But
Yeah.
and so I am jealous of people like that because that seems fun, you know, and like it seems like it would be fun, but I can't physically do
It
that.
just wouldn't be fun. That's
Yeah.
just reality, you
Yeah.
know?
I just realized I've
Yeah.
been over here for most of the podcast because I had like this
No,
Word doc open and it was like there. Oh well.
you've been pretty central. It hasn't
Okay.
been weird. Yeah.
Producing this myself.
But it's
Um
like looking at those people you also know. And I mean, I can tell in a casino too, like you're watching people who are going through fucking hell,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And when you're looking at that kind of suffering and you've known that kind of suffering, like you know exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
A sense of superiority is like not,
Yeah.
it's just not the feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. And so
But
I
there is like a thank God that's not, there, but for the grace of God go I. Like I do feel that. So I guess that is
yeah.
a
Yeah,
sense
no,
of
100%.
superiority.
I
Yeah.
you know, I know you know this, and a lot of people know. I do a lot of shows with Jim Jeffries, open for him, and I open for him a lot in Vegas. And Jim likes to gamble, but he doesn't. It's very funny when we first started going out. He'd be like, "Do you care if I gamble?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit." I was like, "I'll sit
Yeah.
there and have a drink next to you, you know, while you get
Yeah.
like." And I might not even do that, you know. And he's very open about this in public. So I'm not saying anything. He's been sober now for from alcohol for I want to say 3 or 4 years. It's been a while.
Hmm.
And so we'll literally be they'll give him a table because so people aren't like because otherwise like fans will come up and be like, "What's up?" You know, call him a
Yeah.
cunt or something, think it's fun. He's like, "All right, dude." Like,
Yeah.
and so I'll sit there and watch him gamble, and he'll watch me have like a cocktail or something, and occasionally he'll be like, "Do you think I have a problem gambling?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." Do you like it's the same thing? I was like, I know how much you're worth, and like I see how much
Yeah.
you're betting, and you don't. And like I'll be sitting there. I'm like, like that's the only thing that frustrates me. I'm like, this guy's lame. It's like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
It's like me watching someone leave like half a drink on a table. I'm like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
yeah. And but there was one time where we were sitting at a table and there was a guy across from us and he was just it was like he like you said he was in hell and like you can't say anything like especially when it comes to people's money and stuff. I mean, you would never say anything to anyone at a bar either, but you want to reach across and just be like, dude, just leave. Here's a number to
Yeah.
call, like something. But that leads me to the last question I always ask: is there like any advice you have for anybody that be watching this or listening to this? Um, any advice? Just and I get you've given out a lot of it already. Of just if they're struggling with whatever they're struggling with, like what would you tell them?
Um, I, for me, get help. It's free. I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do
Yeah,
any of it alone. I could quit anything, but I can't not start up again, you know? And it's just like, it's the easier, softer way. It makes life easier. Like, people don't quit this stuff because they think it's going to be too hard. It is so much easier than staying in active addiction, or they think like, comics think they won't be funny anymore. I'm sure that there's an equivalent for other jobs where they won't are afraid they won't be as creative, they won't have as much fun. Anything you do, you'll do it better if you're not in active addiction.
yeah, bus
Like
driver.
I don't know anyone who's ever gotten out of active addiction who is like, this is worse,
Yeah,
you know?
I like you were trying to search for other jobs because that is one that comes up with. They're like, I don't know if I'm going to be funny now if I don't drink or if I can't like do a line before a show or something like that. It's like, no, you'll be
Yeah,
better. Trust me, you'll
you'll be
sound better.
better.
But
Yeah.
you're trying to think of other jobs. I'm like, yeah, there's no other jobs. I don't think like surgeon. It's like, I'm just better if I'm drunk before we open our surgery. It's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I also would say I'd also add to that because sometimes people, you know, you stumble and you go back out and you do some drugs, you drink, you gamble, whatever. And then they use that as excuses like, well, I did that, so it's ruined. No, you just like you were just saying. Once you stop it, as soon as you stop it, it's immediately better. Even that first second, it's already better. It's already better.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's good to see you, get to talk.
At Lara Beitz for everything. Instagram, Patreon, and your YouTube. LARABEITZ. I was trying to do it without looking. I think I did it right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You did.
Find her. She's hilarious. She's very funny. Support her so that support me so that eventually we're only doing theater. So when we can do one set a week. That's my goal.
Please
Yeah.
say it.
Oh, Unstoppable. That's coming out soon, too, right?
Yeah, yeah, we just sent it to Sound and Color, so I don't know when it'll be out or where, but it's gonna come out.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm back. I'm back with the hat in the woods. Much better. Thank you for Lara Bites for being on the show. That was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the different perspectives of things. I said several times, I never thought about it that way, but I really meant that. And I think that is a good thing to say. I think if people in the world said, I never thought about it like that more often, to be a much better place. Uh, just apply that to anything going on in the world right now. Just if a person answered with, I never thought about it like that. That's all we need. That should be the campaign slogan for the next president. I never thought about it like that. Let's not even say president. Let's just in the comment section. Let's start with that. Speaking of that, go to my TikTok page, Forrest Shaw Comedy. If you're on TikTok, go to that Why Not Crack clip that I was talking about, and check out the comment section. Woo! I thought that was just like a harmless clip. Like, yeah, okay, if you smoke weed, then sure, I guess whatever works. That's what JF said. And then I made a joke about, I never say that with crack. And people took that way the wrong way. People were defining what sober is and what sober isn't. Fuck you, I smoke weed and I don't do heroin. You're fat. You're a piece of shit. Don't take Tylenol then. Everyone kept saying, don't take Tylenol. I don't know if that's like a thing. And I wrote to some people, I'm like, I'm not even an AA or an NA. I don't care what you do. Like we said, whatever works for you, whatever's making your life manageable, do that. I want to thank Ryan. He donated some money to the podcast. Thank you. I told you nobody has to do that, but the fact that you did, I appreciate it, and it will go to the cost associated with running this podcast. And if you're out there and you are feeling like you're at your lowest of lows and you're feeling shitty, reach out to someone. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call a hotline, go to a meeting, whatever you got to do. Start talking to somebody and it'll get better. And if you are a friend of somebody you think is in trouble, reach out to them. Don't wait till they reach out to you. You reach out to them. People that do that to me, I have friends that reach out to me all the time just to check on me and see how I'm doing. And I always appreciate that. And if they don't, you're not doing anything wrong. At least you tried. But I don't think that would be the case. I think most people take that as an act of being loved or at least being appreciated as a person that you care about. So do that. Listen to another podcast, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, bye.